down south to South Africa with Noelle and say hello to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far with everybody up in the Mara. I am Noelle, and on camera today I have Ferg. Hello, Ferg. Ferg saluting cars like this. I'm coming to you from the Sabi Sands in South Africa on Juma, for any of you that are maybe new to the show. And the plans for today, I think Ferg and I were chatting about buffalo, but I haven't heard of buffalo gracing our presence for a while. So I think because it's warmed up nicely, we're going to go and check and see what we can do about some elephants, and then as it starts cooling down, start looking for our predator friends. I have a feeling that Scotty D, who's also on Juma with me today, is going to have a look for Tundi, but I will let him update you about his plans with that. And otherwise, I think maybe we'll look for some birds and some butterflies, maybe tortoises. We'll see if we can find a few trees to do. We'll take it kind of easy and see what comes along, and whatever pops up is whatever we will talk about. I actually do, now that I say that, there's a Wahlberg's eagle's nest that's not far from us, and I want to check on them. They're always seen, especially, sorry, it's a little bit bumpy, everybody. After the rain, the little bit of drizzle we had this. So as it gets a little bit cooler, so we'll go see if maybe they're scrapping around for some termites or anything else. And also we're just checking along the drainage system here because there could be a leopard or possibly a lion lying in the shade. This morning they would have been meandering about for a lot longer with that light drizzle and the cool weather, but now it's nice and sunny, just a few clouds in the sky. Not enough rain to make me super happy for the bush, but enough where I'm not going to complain about it, that's for sure. So don't forget, everyone, we are live, we are interactive, and you can send us through questions or comments, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on YouTube chat, send them through there. We love hearing from everybody, and we love answering your questions. All right, so not only are we looking in the drainage line in the shade, but we're also looking up into the trees. Lots of little shady bits up there as well for any of our leopard friends. And when you're driving along the riverbeds like we are doing now, there tends to be larger trees, these riparian trees, having to do with more water that's stuck there underneath the soil. And I think while we're bumbling about, trying to find tracks or animals themselves, let's head on over to my friend Scott and see what he's up to.
Yes, we are much the same as Noelle, just cruising about looking for anything interesting, although instead of hoping to find elephants as a main subject, we are hoping to find a female leopard and her tiny young cub. Her name is Tundi, and my name is Scott. Dyson, it is a wonderful privilege to have you on board, and I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera. Half an hour ago, so really enjoying having the sunshine. And what's interesting regarding the leopard that we are looking for, she was actually seen this morning, and she was seen on the move with her cub. She was probably around a quarter of a mile, maybe a little bit more away from the old den site that she was using, and she was heading off down to our right to another little riverbed system where I'm guessing she's found another temporary den for that cub. Now, while she was moving along with the tiny little cub, they came across the scent of lions. Lions moved through this area last night, sadly straight through our property, so we're not going to be able to find them for you. But as soon as the mother leopard smelt the lion, she turned back and headed away. So we're not too sure what she decided to end up doing. Maybe she went back to the old den, or maybe she kind of did a loop around. It was very thick, and the guys ended up losing her and the cub in this thick vegetation. So we're just going to spend some time kind of scratching around. Hopefully we find some sign of her, and ideally she leads us back to what could well be a new den site. Philip, you wondering if there's any chance we can go and follow up on any sign of hyena dens? Namely, you're hoping to find a ribbon, and I forget who else you'd like to see. Sadly, Philip, at the moment there are no den sites on Djuma, so we have been poking our nose in every now and then, but I've just got a strong feeling that they are denning elsewhere. So we're going to have to wait for them to come back home before we can start spending time with them. I've got a feeling there's a den site just to the north of us in Buffelshoek, so not too far from the previous den where those 2 hyena cubs were seemingly abandoned. So, sorry Phil, we just have to, like I say, wait for them to return and start denning back on Djuma. So, basically my plans are to kind of drive a big circle around the block. She was seen to the right. What I made is head off to the old den. Now, not too sure why, but we do apologize. I think it's out of our control. So those are our plans, kind of just keep spending and investing as much time as possible in the hope of finding this leopard. We don't really have too many other leads to go by. There are no other tracks of animals that we could follow up on, so I think it will be in our best interest to really try and do our best to find this leopard. There were some other animals that moved through our property last night, some wild dogs. They moved through our northwestern corner of our property and then crossed out to the west, so who knows, maybe they will come back this evening or tomorrow morning. So there are some wild dogs in the general area and quite a few elephants around this morning. We went and rested her hood of our car, which was quite fascinating. She was very relaxed, as was the rest of her herd. I'm not sure what we call the hood of a vehicle a bonnet here in South Africa, just to clear up. That's why I said the hood of the bonnet, which doesn't really make any sense. I was just trying to use both words so everyone understands. Alright, well, I'm not sure who I'm sending you off to or where about they are or what they are looking at, but I'm told you're heading off to one of the other 3.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Well, you've sent them all the way back up to us on the Mara River here in Kenya, and we're sitting here just next to the river listening to one of the most iconic African sounds, that of the hippo. It's very much for me like the sound of a lion or that of a fish eagle calling. These hippos have been rather vocal since we got here, and I'm sure we'll hear them in a little bit. It's lovely with the sound of the river as well. There's a little bit of argy-bargy going on with the pod here. Wonder if there's a bit of a tiff. A little bit of action. Nice to come down here. This is the furthest down the river I'm going to come. From here on, I'm going to be heading back in an easterly direction. Try and catch up with those hyena. Maybe they'll be a little bit more active. We did see a few of them out. They're all curled up in little tufts of grass. These hippos are quite happy in the water. They're being quite boisterous. So then from the hyena we'll make our way through towards the marsh. So that's pretty much probably going to be it for the Mara River, and it's been a wonderful afternoon going down the river, but from here I'm going to head inland, and while I'm doing that I'm going to head you off to Noel, back all the way in South Africa.
everyone. So we're coming past Twin Dams, and we've got these impala that are just in front of us that are alarm calling, and they're staring at whatever is making them alarm call. I am going to try and see if we can hear them. Just bear with me. Can we hear that? Sometimes our mic picks up things and sometimes not. We'll try again. Okay. I'm not sure if everyone can hear what we can hear, but at least you can see, and you can see the anxious look on their face. It's hard. A lot of what we hear in the bush and what our microphones and our equipment can pick up is two very different things. So I'm just going to slowly creep around, because now I would like to try and find whatever it is that is bothering them. So please excuse me for not looking into the camera. I'm very busy looking into the bush here. I just want to see if they'll allow me to get in so that I can look from behind them in the direction that they're calling in. There's another little road that goes up here, because it's always easier when you spot what they've spotted as opposed to trying to track afterwards. Also, because it rained a little bit this morning, the ground is going to be very heavy. Oh, there's the leopard. It's right in front of them. Right in front of them. Oh, fantastic. Ah, this is great. So the leopard can obviously see them. They're only about 5 or 6 meters away from each other, just in front of that main impala. The leopard's lying in the shade. The impalas must have come walking past and then obviously seen him. But now it's better the predator you see than the predator you don't. So this is one of the reasons why when you get alarm calls like this, you try and come in slowly as opposed to quickly, because these impalas, without them alarm calling, we would not have found the leopard this quickly. I was actually going to go up Milwaukee. I would have completely missed the whole thing without them. So one thing they also don't want to do is they don't necessarily want to turn tail and run, because when you turn tail and run, that's when you're exposing your weak point. So to me, this male leopard that's sitting here, which Nikki is saying looks like Tigana for her, I'm just going to put my binos on and have a look quickly, might, if they run away, come and try and grab them. Now, Nix, I think you're correct. It's a fat leopard with a big head and light color eyes, but I want to get a little bit closer to do... Oh, and of course our camera's done the work for us. So, all right, viewers, you let me know who you think this is. Remember, Tigana's got that 5-5 spot pattern above the lip, and then to me, he always has a bluish tinge to the eye. And it is, yes, I'm seeing that 5-5. I hope you all are seeing that as well from what I can see here. And also very thick neck, big older boy, well-called necks. Andrew, thanks so much. You're agreeing with Nikki and I. Tigana, well done. Thank you. It's always nice when everybody at home helps us with IDs as well. Also, it stretches your skills. Ah, Philip, you're throwing a little spanner in the works here and saying you think it's Hassana. All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because he's not in stock mode, he's not hunting these impala, he's just lying in the shade and panting and probably annoyed that these impala are going on and on and on and on and on. I'm just going to move down the road slightly and then come up onto the fire break a little bit and then point my nose in so that we can see a little bit better what's going on. We are going to have a bit of the telephone poles in the way, but don't worry, that just means that some of the lodges aren't able to have telephone service for their guests, and it does happen. There's going to be a big bump. Ooh, another one and a couple more at the back. All right, now notice how the impala are not using us to get away. They are still adamant at staring at this leopard. Matt, astute observation. Matt, you're saying the leopard's breathing fast. He must have just eaten something. So Matt, yesterday evening we had Tigana, and he was very, very full, and he was also breathing like this. And then what's happened now is it's gotten very warm. So his belly is still full from yesterday, and it's warm, so that definitely has to do with it. Something behind us has caught his attention. Ferg's just having a quick look. Now remember we were talking yesterday, Ferg and I were having that conversation about how Hasana likes to follow Tigana, and as you all know, we see multiple leopards here at multiple times in different areas. So it's entirely possible that Tigana made another kill yesterday. It's entirely possible there's another leopard around. There's so many different possibilities that are happening here. Now, as I say this, I'm just going to go quiet again. We're a little bit closer to the impala, and let's see if we can hear their noises a bit better now that I'm closer. Fantastic. There's going to be sound of a vehicle coming past us now. And they're going to come and join us because they're just seeing it as well. And they're going to be joining us in the sighting a little bit, so you'll hear them talking. Now, I'm still curious what is exactly behind us, because the wind is blowing and circling a little bit, so it's also entirely possible that even though they're seeing this leopard behind us, that they're also smelling another predator in the area, which would give them a bit more of a panic attack, not just the one that's sitting here. And I'm thinking that the initial Tiganas are correct. I'm also getting a little bit more blue in the eyes. To me, Hasana has those deep yellow. Also, this dewlap is very big. Francis from Israel, indeed, he is very, very majestic. I completely agree. And do we see that dewlap we were just talking about now there under his chin, that flap of skin there? Hasana's is not big like that yet. Hasana still has to grow into his dewlap the older they get. You see that there? And then we can see those long 5.5s on either side. And then I know he's sitting in the shade, but when I was looking with my binos now, he's got that beautiful blue tinge. And then Hasana, who, again, remember, I've only seen Hasana a handful of times. Hasana, to me, has deep golden eyes. They personally have very, very, very different eye color. Now, Hasana's spot pattern, to the Mara to Taylor and see what she is up to this afternoon.
Not much. We're just bumbling around at the moment. We've just gone past the airport. We watched my favorite red aeroplane take off again. I've seen it every single day. Now, you know what I was thinking? Because I have random thoughts. Is I was thinking that have any of you ever wondered why I wave to the animals? I don't know. The ones that I wave at are normally the animals that I haven't stopped at to view. And then the one day I had this thought. We're going to look at the Thompson's gazelle because hopefully they're going to do it. The one day I thought, do you think, I'll say Taylor, to myself obviously, do you think that the animals that you just drive past ever get upset that they're not good enough to be on the show? And then, obviously, I don't know why I was thinking this, because I think of questions as if I was a 3-year-old. And we actually drove past a herd of Tommies, and they sort of poked their heads up. They were quite close to the road. I was hoping these guys were going to do it, but I think they're too far off. And they all looked at me at the same time as if to say, us? Are you going to stop and look at us? No? You're just going to keep going? Oh, okay. So, yeah, it was quite funny. I don't know why I had that thought, but so now I wave at the animals that I don't stop at. But here is a group of Thompson's gazelle. There's not only this species of animal here, there's actually a huge variety. We have got the zebra in the background, and even a herd of buffalo moving past that tree. It is buffalo. So we've got 3 over there, and then if you pan scan to the right, you may even hear the topi that is snorting at me. Why are you snorting at me? 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 Why are you snor Maybe they've seen something that I haven't seen that's behind the vehicle, because they're not really looking at me and snorting. Oh, might just be a bit excited. Now, Chat Noir, thank you for this, because you just said, wouldn't it be cool if the animals waved back at me? That's why I also do it, especially the baboons. I'm going to see a vervet monkey or a baboon one day wave back at me. Oh, let's very quickly go back.
Stations, it's 2 Ingways. Was a shadow, but I'm going to leave it up to all of you. Come interact with me. Who is this beautiful little female leopard? And you guys can let me know. So remember, those impala were alarm calling, and they were alarm calling at Tigana. And then remember, Tigana was ignoring them, and he was staring straight past us. So Ferg and I moved around again, and then here we go. This is what we found. We literally backed up, and she's staring right at us. So she must have heard those impala alarm calling, and then popped her head out because she was interested. And now she can also see Tigana, and Tigana can see her. Now, unfortunately, where I had to move too difficult, because then hidden. So I'm going to stay with this leopard for now and see what she does, and then we'll move over to Tigana. I know that he's still there and hasn't moved because the impala are still staring at him and watching. And then far, far down the line, we also have a huge herd of elephants that's moving in. So within a 400-meter distance, we have 2 leopards, a herd of impala, and a big herd of elephants. This is the Sabi Sands. We talk often about how we have huge population densities of mammals, and trust me, they are here. Some days we see all of them, and some days we don't. Most of them have sort of crossed the road already, unfortunately. And then we're able to see very far because we're just on the side of a road, which also has a bit of a clearing that's called a fire break that we keep short in case a fire comes. It makes a larger area. And then it's also a space that's used for the telephone poles. We try and keep everything sort of together so that when we are in the bush, we don't run into too many man-made scenarios. I'm so excited. I hope everyone's as excited as I am. See, Tristan, I love you, but while you're away in your absence, I will take over your leopard duties. When you get back, you can have them back, and I'll take over the wild dogs. I think that's a fair enough assumption. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell everyone. So I had heard that Tristan had said that he thinks that the little cub is a female. But then I was chatting with Scott, and Scott's thinking that maybe he heard Tristan say it was a little male. So until Tristan gets back from leave, I think we'll leave that alone. I'm going to say that Tundi's little cub is going to be a male. That's my bet. And then we'll let Tristan confirm his bet when he is back. And then we'll have to see if Scott have decided who this little female is. Have we made an ID yet? My guess again would also be Shadow like Ferg's, just because of where she's coming from and where Tundi was seen this morning. It's 2 opposite directions, and we're sitting on the sort of edge of Little Gowrie where Tundi's been. Now, where Shadow's been. Now, this means that Shadow's here, possibly her youngster's around, and I would also love to be able to see her youngster. And I missed out on that epic sighting between Shadow, her youngster, and Tigana, so maybe we get another one. That would be fantastic. And don't forget, everyone, we are live, we are interactive. Send through those questions and comments, #SafariLive on Twitter or on the YouTube chat. Bex! Oh, I completely forgot about Kachava. Well done, Bex. Bex, you're saying it's Kachava. For some reason, she always stays to the last one to pop into my head. Oh, fantastic. And I've only seen her twice before. Once when I was with Senzo and she was in a tree. Oh, sorry, I was with VM. She was in a tree far away. And then once with Senzo and Tristan. Oh, that's fantastic. This is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to have to take photos of her to add into my ID kits and put up some on the Instagram for all of you. Absolutely. to 3. We had that.
Yes, welcome back everybody, and we're just heading back up towards where we saw those hyena. So come a little bit away from the river now, but heading past their den. So I'm sure there's still going to be a lot of planes going out in the plains there where we were. So we'll stop there and have a brief look. We are just going down back towards the river, and then we cut up again once more towards the escarpment. So it seems like you have been getting wonderful images of our spotted cats back in Juma. That is great news. I wish I could also see that. I'll have to check the replay, see how Scott and Noel are doing. It's fascinating to see that. I still haven't seen Tandi's cub, so I'm waiting to go and see it live. I haven't watched it on the TV. I'm saving myself. All right, so while we go
Smiling from ear to ear, I'll tell you why now. So, those topi were having a little bit of a dispute. A bushwalk. How amazing, but we're not in the triangle at the moment. This piece of land is not owned by the Mara Triangle. I think it's a private little concession that we can zip around in. And I'm kind of envious. I stopped and I said to them, I'm so envious that you can do this. And they all looked very happy. There's so many, there's a couple of zebra every now and then. Better wave at them. We're going to go have a look at this little lookout point down here on the river. Bye. There's so many animals. Obviously we passed them all. Zebra, lots of impala, big groups of Thompson's gazelle. And it was also very cool. However, as exciting as that would be, bushwalk and show you all the beautiful plants and just the scenery and the massive boulders and all the birds that we could see in those forests. That would, for me, would be an ideal spot to take you all. Manu, I think I've done the same thing I did the other day, where I missed my turn off because this road is not really worn in anymore. Sorry everybody, I made a mistake. Julie, you said that you're so happy that I wave at the animals, and you think that you said that the animals have feelings too. No, wave back at me. You know, maybe someone takes their hat off. Yes. Good day. We'll say good day, sir, to Manu. Good day, ma'am, to me. Is that too much to ask for? I like to keep things interesting for myself in the bush. If you haven't noticed, Manu, where's my road gone? It's not my road. Is it? Oh, here, the zebra. Sorry, zebra. I've been drawn back to you for a second time this afternoon. Perhaps we shall have a look at you then. I'm just going to get you a nice view of them. I also have to do a big loop because we can't off-road here, so I can't take a sneaky shortcut. So we will drive on the actual road, and then the light will be perfect for the zebra as well. See, should have just stopped at them, and then I would have realized my mistake much earlier. Here's the herd. Hey! I feel like I'm doing dad jokes today. Just in a happy mood, I suppose. Oh, some days, you know, you really just have to appreciate what's going on out in nature. And I always say that nature makes me laugh. It makes me laugh more than anything. It's really cool, and I like to find the comical side of everything, really. There they are, swatting away. Luckily for them, they have got their nice long tails, seeing as though we were seeing some elephant calves with no tails today. And how I always feel very sorry for the animals when they have lost their one fly swatter. That must be a terrible thing. So it is very, very important. Let's see, I think they're going to start to spot the people. I don't know how many people these zebra have seen on foot before. Sure, exactly where we are. It's outside of the Olololo gate, but we do a loop here. It's where the Kichwatembo airstrip is. And it's basically this area where Little Governors is, and where Kichwatembo and Beyond Camp is. It's where we often see the Marsh Breakaways and the Triangle Boys. So we're here. But I think it is private land. I think it is someone else's land and it's being leased. I'm actually not sure, so I'm speaking out of term here. I have absolutely no idea, but I just know that this section is obviously, there's an arrangement where you can do bushwalks. I didn't know that. It was very cool, though. It's kind of the same route that the horse riders use to come down here and cross the Mara, this section. No more use. But here we are in a moment. I'm just waiting for them to pick up on the people. I want to see what their reaction is. And I'm pretty sure this zebra has seen them, but doesn't seem to be too worried. They've got phenomenal eyesight, and they weren't too far away from us either. It was quite cool seeing it though, because they have the ranger with them who has the rifle, and then they have a guide who's got his backpack, and then they also have we would call them, what did I just say to you, Manu? I called those guys a T-boy or T-man, T-carrier. I think that's what we called in Zambia. I can't remember. But it was somebody who made tea. And they would make it in the most incredible way as well. They'd do a makeshift fire and with a very rustic pot and boil the water that way. And it was really cool. And then halfway through your walk, just like you would have a sundowner or a tea and coffee in the morning, you'd stop and you'd have a little break. But picnic kit that he'd come with us, and also an extra pair of iron ears. I'm just trying to remember exactly what they called them. It was the scout, and then there was the guide, and they're actually going past us now. Should we do a quick pan scan so you can see? We're going to do a quick pan scan just to show you these lucky people who are on a walk that I'm envious of right now. There's a pan scan just so I'm not telling stories. So cool. I'm so jealous. I just want to run out towards them. I might get shot though, so I won't do that. Can you imagine a crazy person getting out their car, running and screaming towards them? That wouldn't be good. So I'm going to try not to scare anyone. Actually, I'm just going to sit here and let the zebras, you can see they've finally noticed them now. They're watching them, but they don't seem to be too bothered. They've obviously got quite a distance between them. Very nice to see though, Bushwalk in the Mara. Right, off you go back to South Africa, where it seems like the spots are having a clash with one another, or is it an exciting mating pair?
So but we still have view, so I'm going to keep the view as best as we can. Those impala completely had a breakdown. You can hear them in the back. Oh, he's just lying down a little bit. He was so quiet as he crossed, and the wind was not, the wind was in his favor, not in favor for Kachava. I'm end of Kachava, just to the left. They're probably about 10 meters from each other, which is about 10 yards. And he grunts coming through. Listen. So that's the impala going completely crazy because of the movement of Tigana. Now, Kachava grunted slightly as she was going up, and notice how she went to the tippy top. That means she's not necessarily ready for whatever he's trying. She could just be coming into estrus and just barely wanting to mate, and he can smell it already. I can't see him at the moment. I think he's in the thicker bushes down below. But how incredible was that, everybody? That was absolutely incredible. I just want to see if, oh, there, I can see Tigana moving at the base of the tree just a little bit. We've got Herbie with us. He's driving guests out of Juma. So now, and I'm just going to, thanks, Ferg. I'm just going to move. You see there a little bit more. He's Ferg will show you just now. So you see he's just inside of that area. There he's doing the Flehmen grimace, testing her urine to see if she's ready to mate. Could we all hear him doing his territorial call then? Tested the urine to see if she's ready to mate, and then did his sawing territorial call. How incredible! And then lies down right where her urine was. He's interested in mating with her. That's definitely what's happening. She's just not quite ready yet, and there she is in the tree. And of course the impala are going completely nuts. They're very unaware of the fact that neither leopard cares about either of them anymore and only care about each other. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I've only been able to show guests mating leopards twice in just over a decade. I've seen it a handful more times, my own or when I was training guides. But that would be something I would really love to show to all of you on camera as mating leopards. It's such an interesting scenario, and the sounds that they make. When she is completely ready to mate, she will invite him into her space, and then it's actually quite kind of get away, that he makes sure that so that his genetic material gets in there nicely. We're just about to go to an action broadcast, everybody, so I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit. All right, everyone, welcome to this really special, amazing action broadcast coming to you live from the Sabi Sands in South Africa. We are sitting with two leopards. The one you can see on the screen is a big male leopard, and that he has sort of chased a female leopard up into the tree, just up in here, and he's laying at the base where she urinated and is busy testing her urine. He wants to mate with her, but she's not quite sure if she's ready to mate with him yet, as she's probably just getting into her estrus cycle, and when she's not fully into her estrus cycle, hearing these a little bit. When we first got here, we saw some impala and they were alarm calling. So please just excuse that as this vehicle is busy passing by. So sorry, we're on a main road, so we've got a little bit of people coming back and forth just trying to get to the gate. Excuse. All right. So then we heard those impalas alarm calling. So Ferg, who's on camera with me, we crept up slowly, and we were watching them, and we just came around the corner a little bit, and there was Tigana, this big male leopard sitting there in the shade. Then after a couple of minutes, he picked up his head and was looking, but not at the impala. He was looking behind. And so Ferg and I just backed up a little bit, and there was this beautiful female leopard, Kachava, one of the resident females here. Louise, you're curious to know who is presenting. Sorry about that, Louise. That would be me. My name is Noelle. Our show hours or so every morning and every afternoon. We usually are on the YouTube, but every night on different platforms, different social media platforms, and so we love when you ask us questions and send them through. Kachava is to Tigana. Now, as far as I know, Kachava is the daughter of Tundi, one of our other female leopards who is dominant in this area, obviously with different territories. And it's possible that her father is Tigana, but it's also possible that her father is one of the other male leopards that also finds this area home. Listen. Did we all hear that? That is the territorial call of that male leopard Tigana. Now, to get back to your question, males and females that are related to each other will still mate with each other up to certain generations. So he could be the father, and then still mate with her, and that wouldn't be an issue. Not at all. You can see he's a nice big male and thick in the body, and he's very full. He had a kill yesterday. Interesting, Christine, you're saying that Tigana and Kachava mated in September. If they mated in September, she would then be pregnant for 3 months and then give birth. And now that I'm actually saying, for when you're done there, if we can just have a look at Kachava, I just want everyone to see the backside of her belly. So September, October, November. Christine, do you know when in September they mated? That was before my time, because if we look at Kachava's stomach towards the back, do you see how it's sitting a little bit heavy? If they mated into mid to late September, and then she's pregnant for about 110 days, it would be round about now or within the next week or so that she would give birth. Do you see how heavy it is at the back there? Usually, when they mate, it takes every now and then a leopard will abort. Every now and then she'll give birth and the cubs don't survive, but in usual it works. And I'm actually, now that we're having this conversation, so just an interesting thought. Thanks so much for the update on that. I started with Safari Live at the beginning of November, so I would have missed on that mating scenario. Lions are roughly pregnant for about 3 months. I believe leopards are 110 days and lions are 100 days, or vice versa, but it's basically 3 months. Just over 3 months. 3 months and a week. So, yeah, if she did it mid-September to late September, and now October, November through December, she'll be just about there. Now, if she is pregnant, her urine will still smell like she wants to mate, just as a side thought. I also, if we have any viewers that were watching just now that watched that big male leopard walk past us, I want everyone to note how stocky his legs looked, and I want everyone to remember that we also still have mvula in this area, because remember earlier we were talking about the different male leopards. Now, I quickly did a 5-5 scenario on that face, but for whoever's out there that just triple check last little scenario that Elaine, very interesting. You're saying Kachava's father is believed to be Mvula. That's very interesting. It's the first maybe 1 or 2 years different, but I will have to triple check with some of my friends that work around the sands and follow up on that so we can see. What I know about oh, sorry, you're saying Kachava, not Tigana. I'm sorry, Elaine. I've got too much leopard on the brain. You're saying Kachava's father is Mvula. Okay, I've got you now. Yes, that's what I'd heard. And I was thinking about Tigana. Sorry about that. Too much going on, too much excitement. Yeah, that would make sense as well for Mvula to be Kachava's dad. He was a big dominant male. Sean, you're asking what the temperature is here. It's warm. I'd probably say it's about 30, 32 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm sure someone can Google that and figure it out. Sorry about that sound in the background. We just have another vehicle that's leaving us alone to these beautiful leopards. shade because Tigana has gone just behind us. He's to his original spot, and he's also tested to see what interact anymore. All right, everyone. So before we leave you after this special action broadcast, basically what happened is we had all of these impala alarm calling, and then we snuck in and we found them staring at this male leopard Tigana. And then as we were watching Tigana, he was looking behind the impala, and when he was looking behind the impala, we were saying, yes, there has to be another predator around here, because he was way too alert and he was ignoring these impala completely. He wasn't even annoyed enough to move off and walk away with all their alarm calling. So we just backed up a little bit, and there was Kachava, absolutely fantastic. Then he decided to get up. He stalked towards her. He laid down on the ground, and just as he laid down on the ground, she saw him, and he chased her up the tree a little bit, and she kind of growled, and then he smelled around where she had gone to the loo, and was testing her urine, bringing it into his organs of Jacobson, so that he was doing this, a Fleming grimace, so he could see if she was ready to mate, and also helps with IDs and things. And then he decided, I've had enough, and he went back to his other side of the road and is laying in the shade there. I hope you all enjoyed this amazing action broadcast, and I hope for those of you who are just discovering Safari Live, you keep following us live on YouTube after we go away from here. Right, so she is eyeballing Tigana quite hectically, and I'm so sorry, Elaine, about messing up your question there. For some reason, Kachava is always at the end of my list of leopards that I pick up, and for some reason, her name noon. So I think for now we're just going to keep an eye on the two of them. You will come back and join us as soon as possible.
Yes, well, everybody, look how exciting this is. We've managed to find this hyena den, and look what we've managed to find at it. There's a couple of little cubs here drinking from their mother. That is absolutely phenomenal. We took the ladies' advice, the researchers' advice, and went on sort of towards the escarpment, and we took 2 random lefts and 2 random rights, and, well, her directions were spot on, because by some chance we managed to come out at the right place. I thought we'd never find it, and I was actually about to tell Archie, well, this is like trying to find a needle in. Such an amazing little scene that we found here, that I think we are going to do an action broadcast soon. So just so that you know, I'm going to be reintroducing myself and everybody to what's happening, because this is very special now, what we found. And every now and then the little cub does get a little bit scared and run back in the hole, but seems to be relaxing with us here. We've found this hyena den. This is Safari Live, and we've been driving around for days trying to find out where this clan has been denning, and today we got lucky. And not only did we find the den, but we found Mom outside suckling a couple of her little cubs who keep on coming in and out of the hole. 75 hyena that use this as their den. So we have been very lucky, enabling us to find this spot, and we're going to sit here for a little bit longer and see if these cubs come out and drink a bit more from the mother, because they are absolutely pitch black and very beautiful. This is such an amazing sighting. I can't believe that we came upon this, and what another bonus prize with Mommy and her cubs. I wonder how high up the hierarchy she is. Maybe being near to the den here, she's probably one of the higher ranked. Look over there, Archie, another one's out. Look at that, folks. We are very close to them, so we don't want to make too much noise. But they're all coming out to suckle from Mom. Kevin, thanks for your comment, saying this is amazing. I think there's not many things that I've seen as amazing as this. Very special. Totally. They can't be very old at all. A little bit difficult to see there in the shade, but every now and then you'll see them walk around, and then we'll see them again. So it's not all about the lions and leopards. We do love the hyena as well. Amazing creatures, and almost put all the norms on their head. Stephanie, you're wondering how many cubs I can count. I think I've seen 3, but it stands corrected. I just want to try and wait and see them all out. But I think I might have seen 3. I'll have to wait and see. Looks like only 1 there at the moment. Very often, if it's a dominant female, it might land up being actually siblings. Very interesting hierarchy with hyena. They actually call it very political. Wondering why they're dark in color. Well, generally with the predators and with a lot of the animals, the cubs and the pups and the calves, they can all be very different colored to the adults. Now remember, with hyenas, they will leave their cubs in normally dark holes in caves, and the dark color will definitely tend to blend in with the surroundings a lot better because of that sites that they choose. Look at that, he's left quite clearly. Can leave some of the females to look after the youngsters. Look like absolutely, and just think that might have looked a bit uncomfortable for that little cub, but a hyena, if it wanted to, could smash. Gentle. Fascinating to watch. Look at that. Wow, that's one of the youngest cubs I've ever seen. Can't be much older than a couple of weeks, I would say. Look how soft she's being. She's just nuzzling it. Oh, look at that. Wow. Now, Hayley, you're wondering if the mom's grabbing its head because it's being naughty. I think she's just bonding with the little youngster. Look at that. She's just nuzzling it and licking it and just enjoying each other, I think. A little bit of motherly love. She's being very gentle, almost quite playful. It looks like a Star Wars Ewok. Well, I'm not too well clued up with Star Wars, so I wouldn't know, but I'll agree with you. I'm sure lots of other people would too. For me, it's just absolutely enthralling to sit here with this, and that they're allowing us just to enjoy with them. They can hear us, and that's how close we are. She's quite relaxed. Doing the research. She's probably here quite regularly, so that also habituates them to the vehicle, much as they do in the Sabi Sands with the leopard. It's important to have vehicles around the adults, because then they allow you to be around the youngsters, and the youngsters then get used to the vehicles. So it's a whole system of getting them habituated. Now, Dale, you're wondering how old until they turn lighter. It will be a couple of months, about two to 3 and lighter as is, and start to get its little spots. And normally at about years old, they do look like little adults. And I wonder now if she's sent this little one back into its room. Go and be quiet a little bit. So, folks, I think that has been an absolutely fascinating little encounter with this mommy and her cub. I've now found the den. I think there's going to be lots more of this, because I'm going to be coming back here. And, sorry, but Archie, just go over there. Look at this. She's moving it. I wonder where she'll be moving it to. Look at that, the little one not so happy to be moved, but mommy won't. And you know how dogs and some of the cats and the hyena, when they pick the little cub or the pup up by the head like that, you see how they go limp? They go very still. That's perfect for them to be able to carry them like that. And if you grab a little puppy or cub by the neck, you often see them go into that instinctive mode, very relaxed. Sometimes it almost seems like she's throwing it around, but she's being very careful, and that youngster's quite tough. There he is, look at that. Now, Sean, you're wondering if she's moving the den. No, she's not moving the den. There's actually a lot of holes around this area, so it's almost like it could have been a porcupine. Imagine if there's 75 individuals in this clan, there must be quite a few entrances and exits all over the place. Perfect for them to be able to house quite a number of different individuals, but also elaborate enough that they all have their own space. A very political environment with Hyena, so nobody's got to be stepping out of line. Look at that, being carried again. Mommy just moving it off a little bit, maybe to another hole in the ground. Wow, who would have imagined that this was what we were going to see today? Absolutely stunning. Now, Miranda, you're commenting that's an absolutely magnificent shot. Well, I agree with you. And we have the very talented Archie in the back there, making sure we get this shot for you, bringing it to you absolutely live. This is happening right now, folks. With females obviously moving this cub off a little bit. Now, Tina, you're wondering if we're safe being this close? Absolutely. And she's moved off a little bit now, but she was even very comfortable with us in her presence here. And it won't be long and we're going to move off, just in case there is any kind of fear. There's probably within 30 meters of us, there's probably the same amount of hyenas. So, folks, I'd like to say thank you for everybody for coming on to watch this absolutely stunning and amazing scene that folded out here. We'd like to welcome you back anytime on Safari Live. Keep watching, because I'm going to be coming back for lots more of what we just witnessed. Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. I think we're gonna leave this mommy in peace, and we've also got quite a distance for us to get back up towards the escarpment. But we've definitely accomplished what we wanted to today, and that is having found the hyena den. So we've had an awesome experience. I think we're going to not overstay our welcome. We're going to head on out, and I tell you what, I'm going to be back tomorrow. Can't wait. Cannot wait. And we are going to have some amazing encounters in this little area here. I want to see what the hyenas get up to, where they go, what they do, what they hunt. It's enthralling for me. I love hyenas. There's a lot more holes on this side. We head towards the escarpment. There is one or two little technical issues that need to be dealt with very quickly behind the scenes. The tech guys are going to do it as quickly as possible, but in the meantime, let's head you up to the mountain camp and we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. The gremlins are very mean this afternoon, but hopefully this will do the trick so we don't get any more interrupted spots. Manu and I have had no luck with the animals. However, we have prepared a short skit for you. Are you ready? Okay, we're done now. That is just Thank you so much. I'm just live at the moment. I'll talk to you in a minute. Sorry, I'm being tailed. We have been spotted and everybody is driving after us, and now we've got some fans who want to take pictures of us in the car. But I hope you liked our Jurassic Park skit very much. Shall we pose? Should I turn and pose for them? Shall we do this live? I'm going to pose live. How's my hair, Manu? Fine. Is it fine? We've decided we're going to pose live for you. How would you like us to pose? Would you like us to do a little dance? Just like this, my hands. I've got my jazz hands out. Jazz hands.
Are you guys really filming for Nat Geo?
You can say hello, I'm watching Safari Live.
Hello, I'm watching Safari Live.
There we go. So not quite, you can wave quickly. There we go. I'm going to have to carry on, unfortunately. But you can go and find us. Actually, hang on. I'm going to stay here and chat to you all. Right. Okay, everybody. I'm going to stay and do the Safari Live talk. And I'm hopefully going to convince these lovely people in this car to carry on watching the show. So we might have some new fans joining us. However, I'm going to send you back down to sunny South Africa. Like I said earlier, there's lots of leopards by the sounds of it. And I wonder what Kuchava is going to get up to next.
Welcome back, everybody. So Tigana is still lying in the shade, but he's positioned himself so he can keep staring at Kuchava. And Kuchava is still lying in her tree, and she has kept her position where she's still staring at Tigana. Now, I've got Herbie next to me with his guests, and as many of you know, Herbie is one of the guides that we use to do walks with. He does the safety perimeter so that the rest of us can present. It's very difficult to present whilst carrying a rifle and having your earpiece and so Herbie is our extra little pair of hands. And Herb and I were just discussing when Kuchava was standing in the tree that we think she's pregnant, and we were just I'm talking about it. Where Herbie was parked, Herbie could actually see from his angle, it wasn't as shady, he could actually see her teats. So we are going to say 100% Kuchava is pregnant. That is definitely for sure. And with the help of all of you, we are saying that within the next week we think she's going to drop. And I said to Herbie just now, she mustn't stay on that little Gowrie side. She must come over to our side, and she can have her babies over here. So we have Tondi farther up north in our property with her. Richard, you're curious to know if the reason why Kuchava is up the tree is for the safety of her cubs. So, Richard, she doesn't have cubs yet. She's still pregnant. And it is possible that she's up the tree because she feels more comfortable away from Tigana there because she's pregnant. But trust me, if Tigana wanted to do anything to her, that tree is not going to stop him from being able to do it. She's just showing her displeasure at him being too close by going up and getting to the tippy top and then saying that she's had enough. She needs him to stay away. And so he did. He respected her, and he came back down and over to his spot and is giving her a bit of space and watching her from a little bit of a distance. And that is my take on the whole scenario. She doesn't want him any closer than that. Now, if she were to have tiny little cubs somewhere nearby, she also doesn't want him around those tiny little cubs either. Ooh, my friend Scotty D still searching for Tondi and her little cub. So let's go back to him because I think he has something that either a lion or leopard would like to eat, and that is also just a nice to view.
We certainly do have a wonderful view of these very tasty kudu, and I'm hoping that they're going to take a drink. But you notice they're looking at something, and you're going to be in for a treat shortly, because take a look at what they're looking at. It's a warthog with a few tiny little piglets, and I'm afraid to say that it appears that one has been eaten. Yesterday we saw these warthogs and there were 4, and now sadly there's only 3 of these cute little things. So I wonder what managed to get one. This is an area that Shadow, a female leopard, tends to spend a lot of time, so maybe she got lucky enough to snack on one. Interesting, unlike their mom, they're not interested in having a drink. And that's probably because they're getting enough liquid from the milk that she will still be providing them. They're having a mixed diet at the moment, both milk and vegetation that they're nibbling on. Let's take a look at the piglets again. It looks like they're charging up towards these kudu. They're very curious and inquisitive. What an awesome scene. And it's not the first little bit of cuteness you've had this afternoon. It sounds like you had a wonderful, wonderful sighting with Ralph and that tiny hyena. And I must also say well done to Noel for finding not only Tigana but also Kuchava. So incredible stuff unfolding this afternoon. You can see a red-billed oddpecker catching a ride there on the mummy pig. She seems to have flared up her little mane to make herself look big and proud, I guess maybe because some kudu were approaching her. There's so much stuff happening here, so let's go back to the kudu who are now drinking, because we seldom get such good views of them. What an awesome scene. There's a young boy, probably just about a year of age, maybe a little bit more. He's going to hopefully turn into a brute of an antelope with spiraled horns, much like a corkscrew. I haven't seen any big kudu since I've been back, actually. Not one, I don't think. Behind us. Quickly, Senzo. Take a look at this, everyone. Can you believe what's just come running onto the scene? A leopard. And he's after these piglets. Has he got one? We're going to need to move quickly. I don't think he has. The kudu have just disappeared. Hold tight, everyone. We still got everyone. I'm not sure it's a male leopard. That much I can tell you. But who? I'm not sure. Shame there's still a piglet here. Where's the leopard? The leopard straight in front of us. Going on towards 11 o'clock. Now, maybe he was the one who managed to... Yeah, it is a male. Maybe he is the individual who managed to catch one of those poor piglet siblings. Whew. I don't know what got my attention, but I just looked behind me and I just saw this huge male leopard running at full tilt. What routes are we going to take? We should be able to make it through here. There's just one or two stumps. Hold tight, everybody. Can you hear us? Tree squirrel alarm calling now. Now I don't want to lose this leopard. This is such a good opportunity for us to stay with him. He's still definitely working this herd of piglets, this sounder of warthogs, and he's just alongside us now. I'm just going to find a good spot for us to stop. Now, it seems like the piglets did scatter in all directions, so he still does have a chance of actually catching one. Oh, how incredible is this? And you can still see he's very, very intent. How cool is this? You see, he's trying to pick up the scent of them now. Isn't it incredible how they can not only use their eyes and their ears, but also their noses to help detect prey? Look at this. On the trail now. It looks to me like a fairly young leopard. Who knows, maybe Tumba, maybe Hosanna. I certainly stuff. Oh, just sitting quietly and patiently at that waterhole, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. Yeah, it should be fine, Nikki. We're thinking about doing an action broadcast. I was just letting Nikki know that I do think we should. Of the afternoon. It's been non-stop jam-packed action of varying kind of genres, you could say. No hunting, but some cuteness with the hyena. Some interesting stuff unfolding with Tigana and Kushchava, and now this young male leopard who is searching for a meal. Now, I'm guessing this mother piglet is long gone, but he seems to think he's still on their trail, and he could well be. I really wonder if it was him that managed to catch one of the other piglets. I just need to call on the Game Drive radio quickly what's going on. Station's located a young Madora Ingwe. He's just south of Treehouse Dam now. Mobile south and west, Lanzering some honchies. Okay, I just needed to let everyone know, because of course we need to share these magical scenes and sightings in the hope that the same thing will happen when other guides find interesting stuff unfolding just like this. Surprisingly, there's so much going on this afternoon that actually nobody's got back to me. Quarantine, another beautiful big male leopard's been found off to our east, and obviously Noel's got Tigana and Kuchava, and now we've got this young male, and I'm surprised none of you have let us know who he is yet. I guess we haven't had the best views, but some of you guys are absolute wizards when it comes to IDing these animals. I'm surprised how close he got to them, but we'll continue discussing that a little bit later. We are ready to welcome on the extra folks on the action broadcast. I'm just going to have to keep quiet for a second or two. Everyone, and welcome to this action broadcast. We are coming to you live from South Africa in the Sabi Sands, and we are on the trail of a young male leopard. I'm not too sure exactly how old he is, but I can tell he's a bit young, and he's desperately trying to seek out a family of warthog. We were sitting patiently at a waterhole, actually watching the warthog drink, and then also all of a sudden all hell broke loose, and this young male leopard came charging in and got very close to catching one of these tiny little piglets, and now he's trying to follow their scent trail. He's just up ahead of us. Let me stop here to give you a quick view of him. There he goes. Absolutely beautiful. Ooh, incredible. I think he's managed to find, and I thought he was poking his head into a hole. I thought for a second he'd managed to find a burrow that they may have tried to disappear down to escape him, but he's continued on, so I guess I must have been wrong. Whew. Now, to have a young male leopard like this, or any leopard for that matter, on the move, there's usually quite a lot of impala in this area, and who knows what other prey he could possibly stumble upon. Now, when following animals through thick vegetation like this, we try and kind of keep our distance, but keep an eye on them so as to not impact or interfere in their plans. Now, Lee, I'm not too sure which leopard this is. We've only had a few quick glimpses of him. I'm guessing not Tigana, guys, that it could well be Hosanna from the views that you've got. We also did see an unknown male leopard, also fairly young, in this area about a couple of weeks ago, so maybe it's him. Let's hope I haven't lost him. I've had to take quite a wide berth, but I can hear birds alarm calling, so he must be nearby. I can hear a whole bunch of birds that will be mobbing him. We got him again, not to worry. Ooh. One or two bumps here, and the joy of being on a live safari is you are here for every bump along the way. There's nothing scripted or edited or planned. We just have to roll with the punches, and when the going is good, it's good, and sometimes when it's tricky like now, you're here for every step of the way. Okay, just going to go around again. Now that I've got a visual of him, I think we'll be able to get another pathway to loop ahead. Jean, who's watching all the way from Vancouver Island, and it's wonderful to have you with us. If any of you are joining for the first time, I must reiterate that this is of course live, and if you'd like to ask us any questions or if you've got any comments, please pop them in the comment box below. We would love to hear from you and interact with you. Sorry, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get you a visual of him soon, but he is highly mobile. Okay, let's stop here. We should get some good views. He's going to come straight past us here. You can still see he's holding his head quite low to the ground, so he could well still be following the scent trail of these warthogs. Isn't this beautiful? Hello, boy. Not having much luck, are you? He's got a distinctive little notch off the top of his left ear. So that's going to be a good characteristic. A little notch that I noticed missing there. So I'm not sure if that helps any of you IDing him. What an incredible scene. I'm only just getting my heart rate down to a kind of fairly decent level now after the excitement of him coming storming onto the scene. I'm surprised he got it as he did to the warthog. He was very lucky because he came running in from a very long way. When it comes to his hunting, it seems. All right. Now, because we can't stay too close with him, you guys are just going to have to be patient. I am doing my best to stay with him, and I'm sure we will get some more views, but it may take a minute or two before we get into our next spot. Lee, you wondering how big is he in terms of kind of weight? A young male like this, I would guess to be around, 70 or 80 kilograms. A big male would be somewhere around 100 kilograms. As a rough guesstimate, but we are only ever guessing. These animals never really get tranquilized and actually weighed, so it's always just kind of a bit of a thumbsuck. It's hard to be certain. Hoping he's going to pop out somewhere here shortly. There was a bit of a thick area that we couldn't follow him through. But it opens up quite nicely here. So if he did continue on the same trajectory that he was moving on, I'm sure we should get a view of him any second now. Maybe he's up on a termite mound up ahead, a good vantage point for him to scan for any other prey. Ooh. He's behind it. Okay, well done, Sens. He's just slunk behind the termite mound, so I'm going to shortly stop and get you another good view. Here we go. He is looking very intent, and you can see his belly is empty. Who knows when he had his last meal, but he could definitely do with another one. And I can't believe it, but I'm confident that he's still following their scent trail. You noticed how his head and nose are to the ground, and I've actually very seldomly seen a leopard hunt like this, using the scent of their prey to keep trying to follow them. But he's clever because he knows that warthog lives in burrows. Have been known to sometimes in excess of 48 hours waiting on top of the termite mound in the knowledge that at some point they're going to have to come charging out. Now, there is a termite mound just ahead of us. Who knows? Maybe that is where the warthogs fled to, and maybe that's where he's going to end up camping out. Okay, well, Mike, you with us all the way in the Dominican Republic, and I'm glad that you approve and say that this is some incredible footage that we are sharing with you. It certainly is. And they got a good old whipping there. Just need to update all the regular game drive vehicles and just tell them where we are now, because it's going to be very difficult for them to get to us. Stations and updates on this young Madoda Ingwe. He is mobile south and west from Treehouse down in the block. It's going to be very tricky for anyone to get to him. I'll update you when he's back on the road. Sorry everyone, it's just very important that we do share information with the other vehicles that are moving in this area, because we all like to share sightings with one another. And we've actually got no idea where we are now. I'm a bit discombobulated. But he seems to be possibly calming down a little bit. Is he still following their scent? It seems like it is. Let's keep catching up with him. It doesn't get any better than this, guys. A beautiful, beautiful leopard on the move in the sunshine like this. What a treat. Lee, you'd like to know how close are we to one of our other guides who's currently with two leopard, a male and a female. We're not very close to them, Noel, probably about a mile and a bit, I would say, directly to the west. Actually make their way. You may see another vehicle shortly. Now the leopard's trotting again, which seems to make me think that he's detected something. Maybe it's the warthogs he's caught up to, I'm not too sure. Let's see if we can get back into a better spot here. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. It's thick here, so I'm going to have to, I know this area quite well, and we're going to have to try and plan our attack here. Hello, Subham. You'd like to know if they will ever attack humans if they get hungry. Well, there have been very, very few cases of leopards attacking and eating humans here in Africa. It does happen from time to time. Here he comes. But it's certainly not the norm, and I haven't heard of any leopards in the specific area that we're in ever doing that. It's usually in areas where animals get forced out of natural habitats, where they have to live alongside humans, where they may become very, very desperate. Over here, we're very, very fortunate in that these animals become used to our presence. They don't see us as food. They don't see us as a threat. They merely see us as spectators into their lives. So as long as we respect them and give them their distance, they can hiss and growl and snarl at us if we're getting too close. And then we just back up. And of course, if they've ever got cubs, they're also a little bit more nervous of us and cautious. Not nervous of us, but just, you know, the maternal instinct kicks in, and they like to try to obviously make sure that their youngsters are not under threat. So those are a few examples of where leopards may get irritable with us, but as a general rule, they do not see us as a food source. Yes, Robin, he is certainly beautiful, and just like you, I also do love watching them hunt. It's one of the most exciting things, and it's important to remember that, you know, the big cats of Africa sleep for 18 to 20 hours every day, so the fact that we have got this little window of 4 to 6 hours that they move during broad daylight is further kind of testament to how fortunate we are at the moment. Get some more great views. He's still incredible how much better these wild animals' senses are than ours. Not just their sight. And as he starts to move through this thicker vegetation, you get a good idea of how well that camouflage works when he just dissolves into the thickets. Well, it seems like the warthog done a good job dodging him. I can't remember if I mentioned to you guys since you joined that we've been following this family of Warthog quite closely. The mother's very relaxed with us, so we've been having some wonderful views of what were 4 piglets, and we saw 4 of them together yesterday, but only 3 today. So who knows, maybe this leopard or another one has already managed to catch one of their siblings, which is of course a little bit sad, but it is a reality out here. The carnivores need to eat, and sadly at the moment, there's a lot of youngsters around. Well, not sadly, but it's, sadly for the youngsters, sadly for their mothers, but obviously it's a great bonus and time for the leopards to cash in on some easy meals. Having so many youngsters around that are born in correlation with the bountiful summer. It is the greenest. Thanks, Senzo. I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera today, so he's just helping me keep a few more good as he hopefully slinks towards us now. Now, if any of you are unaware of what we do, this is a part of a twice daily live safari that we've invited you onto. We do 2-3-hour broadcasts, sometimes more, every single day, with a couple of vehicles here in South Africa where we are, and another few vehicles and guides up in the Maasai Mara in Kenya. So be sure to stay tuned to the notifications if you would like to be informed of any more interesting and exciting hunting. Earlier we had an incredible sighting with some hyena cubs, and also just anything of interest we like to live, and you'll find us without too much trouble. So big thanks for joining. That was very, very exciting. I hope everyone's still in one piece after all that bundu bashing, and it was great to have you guys on board. We will see you all next time. You stick with us through thick and thin. Thank you. And whew, what an exciting scene. I wonder how close he got to that warthog. Senzo did really well on camera because we got totally ambushed. Now, has anybody confirmed who this leopard is yet? Because I've had a few possible guesses, but no actual confirmation. I don't have a clue, so. But it seems like a lot of you are guessing that it is Hosanna. So, for now, we will take it that it's Hosanna. Where has he gone now? I'm told he used to love spending a lot of time in this area. I'm just giving a thumbs up to Herbie, who's guiding some guests at the moment. And he's had a great afternoon. He was at Tigana and Kuchava a little bit earlier. Now he's with this young male. So his guests are going to be loving him. Okay, guys, well, Herbie's giving me some. Let's just wait. For this. He's just kind of behind the termite mound. You can see him moving there. And let's see if we don't get super, super lucky. And if he comes up onto this termite mound, we are going to be in pole position. Sorry, so let me just roll a bit forward. There we go. Hey, boy, you've been a very busy lad this afternoon. You can still see he's trying desperately to smell. And I guess he knows if he finds where they bunkered down, like I said a bit earlier, out. He's kind of going around in circles. Of front end, whilst when he works out where next he's going to go, we will call you back immediately. But for now, we are going to be sending you all the way back up to the Maasai Mara with Ralph.
Absolutely amazingly exciting down there in South Africa as well. I can't tell you, I can't contain myself after that little baby hyena that we encountered with Mum. And so we're up on the escarpment, and this is a lovely scene up here as well. A little bit of riverine thicket, and we can hear a lot of the birds calling. At the moment we have the red-chested cuckoo doing the pitmevrou, and we've got some zebra moving here through the thickets. And wow, I can't tell you, it's just been an absolutely fantastic day. We started with those buffalo early this morning, a little bit of a run around. We had some issues behind the scenes with mechanics and so on, but wow, it's landed up being such a nice day. An ending like that, I think, for me, I feel really good, and it's been a wonderful day. So down in the little dam there, we also have a couple of hippo that we've been listening to, and from here we're going to slowly start making our way up towards camp, but a few of the clouds building. So thank you everyone for joining us. For we do it all over again. Goodbye.
Welcome back, everyone. You can see a few little spots hidden in the undergrowth. He's just stopped there planning his next move. I wonder what it's going to be. But either way, I'm very, very happy and hugely, hugely grateful that we are spending our afternoon like this. It really doesn't get much better. We are quite close to our southern boundary. That is my only fear and concern, that he may slink off. If he heads south, it'll take him 30 seconds from where we are to head into an area where we cannot follow him. So let's cross fingers that he heads either north or east. Down, which first prize for me. Let's see if we can't get in front of him again. He seems to be kind of slowing down a bit. I don't blame him. He's moved quite a big distance in a short space of time, up and down, backwards, forwards. He's just stopped in his tracks there. Has he spotted something ahead of him? I don't think so. Now let's try and get you another quick view. I'm told Taylor has just, Noel has just arrived at the Chitwa waterhole and would like you to come across there. But I think we are going to get some great views of him coming straight towards us here, and then we can. Well, ideally he continues towards us in this perfect afternoon light. Look at this. I wonder if he still has their sense. I mean, he could well function. It's quite thick around us. I'm looking. I can't see anything. But you can see he is very, very composed. What can you hear in there? They are such cool animals. Cheatsy asking whether I think he's lost dogs. I mean, I'm inclined to say yes, but the fact that he keeps sniffing the ground the way he does gives me a little bit of kind of apprehension to be certain that that is the case. You see what he's doing now? Is he